Hello everyone, welcome back. This is my 38th flosstube video, and it's going to be an update of my stitching for the month of October 2018 and maybe a little bit of November. We're already basically a third of the way through November, so I'm going to update you with some of the stuff that I've done the last week or so. Anyway, first of all, I want to welcome you back. If you are returning, thanks for coming back and watching my videos. If you are new, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the things that I have to share with you, and would encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like what you see. Encourage you to like my videos, and also feel free to make any comments. I always enjoy hearing from you and answering any questions or suggestions that you have. So thanks. Let's get started. I have a couple of things that I want to do before we talk about my monthly update. First of all, I have somebody that I would like to basically give a shout out to. That is Handwork Maniac. Her name is Brenda. She lives in Utah, in Utah County, which is the county south of Salt Lake. And she has done a couple of videos, and I have really enjoyed watching her. She's also, her daughters stitch as well, and she did one of her videos with one of her daughters. And it's been really enjoyable to watch them. I almost feel like she has a lot of the same tastes that I do. It's funny, she's shown some of the pieces that she stitched in the past, and her daughter has shown a couple of pieces that she stitched, and they are all pieces that I've been wanting to stitch for a very long time. It has been really fun to see everything that she does, and they've also introduced a couple of terms that I really like. They've talked about being in WIP debt, which is, I kind of feel like I'm in WIP debt, which I really like that term. They are really fun to watch, and if you haven't watched them, I would encourage you to check them out. I'll put a link in the notes below. I'll put a link in the notes below so that you can easily find them. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I was contacted by the Fat Quarter Shop, and they asked if they could send me a couple of cross-stitch patterns to review and share with you. And I, of course, said yes. I was kind of interested to see what they sent me. And their package arrived a couple of days ago. So I thought I'd share with you what they've sent. And the first, they sent a couple of pieces. Evidently, the designer is It's So Emma. And evidently, I've looked on the website, and it looks like she designs quilts and is kind of moving into cross stitch. So there's this pattern that's called Happy Farm Girl, and it's of a farm girl with some different motifs. I actually went on their website and found out that there is a quilt block that she designed that looks just like this. So this I think is an adaptation of one of her quilt blocks. It's counted as 130 by 130, meant to be stitched on 14 count Aida or 28 count linen. Also, evidently they sell their own brand of embroidery floss called Floss. So it is charted for Floss or DMC. It also has DMC equivalents. The other chart that they sent me is this. This is called Farm Girl Fall. And it looks like it's kind of a quilt block type thing, kind of a 9-square quilt block with different motifs. It's meant to be made into a pillow, and there are instructions in the chart as to how to do that. Also, it's charted for DMC and Floss. And it's also, this is stitched on what they call 10 count 10 count vintage cloth, and they sent me some 10 count vintage cloth. This is oatmeal. It's 10 count. I haven't taken it out of the package yet, but it feels really soft. They say it's, it looks like Ada to me, but they say it's Ada, except for it's really soft, and it doesn't feel stiff from the package. So that looks pretty good. The charts look very, very clear, and the symbols that they use, the charts are in color, but they are, I usually don't like colored charts, but these look pretty clear. It doesn't look like there's a possibility that I would accidentally that I would accidentally switch two colors. The symbols are clear enough that I don't think that would be a problem. So they're very clear and very nice. To be honest, they're more my wife's style than mine. My wife likes folk art, Charles Wysocki stuff. That's what she really loves, and they kind of fit under that kind of a genre. However, I do kind of like this, and I'm considering stitching this on this cloth to see how it comes out. So I'll keep you updated how that comes. If you want to find these patterns, they are available on the Fat Quarter Shop. If you search for Happy Farm Girl, I was able to do that, and I was able to find these two patterns along with this vintage cloth and a couple of other colors besides oatmeal, which is this color. And also their floss comes up as well. So feel free to check them out, and I'll keep you updated as to what I find out about them. Okay? So let's see. The next thing that I want to talk about is I want to do an update on my knitting, and I have started another square. And I'll show you what I've been able to do so far. I've kind of been doing this on Saturdays a little bit, Saturday afternoons. So this is another square for my Learn to Knit Afghan. For those of you who haven't seen this, this is a book by Barbara Walker, she was a pretty prominent, she wrote several books about knitting. She wrote this. This is basically a book of Afghan squares that you can knit, and by the time you go through all the Afghan squares, you have a pretty good grounding in a whole bunch of different techniques that you use when you knit. So it's kind of, not only do you get a nice Afghan, but you learn how to knit different stitches, how to do a whole bunch of different increases and decreases, lace, cables, what she calls mosaic knitting. There's a whole bunch of different techniques that she teaches you in here. She also does another book that I really like called Knitting from the Top, which it talks about how to knit different types of garments from the top down, and it's also a pretty good book. I've never actually knit any, well, I've tried, and I have knit a couple of her sweaters from the top, but I kind of lost interest in knitting before I really started to explore that. Anyway, this is what I've been stitching. This is mosaic knitting, and it's called Double Scroll. I'm about halfway through the block. And mosaic knitting is, as you can see, you're knitting with two colors, and you knit 2 rows of each color, one after the other, and you slip stitches to make the design. So this is the design, and this is it's kind of hard to see. It'll look a little bit better when I get another repeat in, but it's like, this is a scroll. You can see the scroll with the blue that comes up here and wraps around this up here. And then it's kind of like a white scroll wrapped around a blue scroll. So like the pattern is repeated in the white and the blue, and it just kind of interlaces with each other. So it's kind of cool. This is my last mosaic square that I need to do. I'm finishing up, so anyway, I'll continue working on that. As I said, I'm I'm knitting this Afghan because I feel obligated, because my youngest daughter, I've made Afghans for all of my other kids, but not my youngest, and she feels left out. So I'm working through that pretty slowly. Maybe sometime I'll have it finished for her. Okay, so now let's do an update of what I've been working on, and I'm going to show you my graphs. I've kind of changed them up a little bit, so I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, here's my trend of stitches. This is basically the same graph that you've seen before. And you'll see that for the month of October, I got a little bit, I stitched for another day, an extra day in October. And I also, the number of stitches that I put in also increased a little bit. So yeah, I'm kind of going, I've kind of been at about the same pace over the last few months, because most of what I'm doing is full coverage or requires a lot of stitches to make anything. So I'm kind of fallen off from what I used to be able to do stitch-wise, but that's totally expected. Here's my whip trend, and I've changed this a little bit. This has the total number of whips that I have, and then the number of whips that I've actually worked on. And I'm going to talk about this graph a little bit later. I've kind of changed the way that I calculate things with this graph, so it looks a little bit different from what you've seen in the past. At any rate, you'll see that there's an uptick in the number of whips that I have, and that's because I've started something, and you'll see that in a little bit. Here's my Pareto of the number of days that I have stitched on each project, and you'll see that they're pretty much spread evenly across the number of projects that I worked on. Yeah, the only thing that I have to say here is, you'll see there's Miriam Bright, which I'll show you in a little bit, and that's the reason why I didn't spend as many days on that piece as the others is I finished the section that I was working on in less than a week. Here's the number of stitches that I've put in on each project, and you'll find this is really interesting because the pieces that I put the least amount of stitches in are they're both full coverage pieces. So so I was able to cover a less area on the graph. Okay, so since I started a new project, here's my start trend, and you'll see for the year of 2018 I am now up to 4 starts, which is, I think I'm kind of settling into a bit of a routine. And you'll see I changed the way the graphs look compared to before. I've also done quite a bit of work on my spreadsheet, and I've updated it so things are a little bit more automated. They require less work to update than they have in the past. So I don't know if, I know I've shared that spreadsheet before. If any of you are interested in, I guess, version 2.0 of the spreadsheet, let me know, and I'll do a video explaining how to use it and make it available for download. I've kind of prettied it up a little bit and done a couple of other things, so I'm really happy with what I've done so far. There are still some things that I don't like about it, and yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to make it even more automated, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so there's all my graphs. It's been a good month stitching wise, and I'm really happy with how my rotation is going. So I decided that I would do something a little bit different this time, and I have been recording basically mini updates every time I finish working on a piece. So I have several segments that I'm going to insert here. showing what I worked on and what I've been able to accomplish. So I'll insert those here and we'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, how you doing? I've had a great week stitching. Have had lots of time to stitch in the evenings. And I've also had a good time at work. And this morning I spent time reseeding my lawn. That's done now, which is good. It's always a lot of work, but it's always a relief when it's in. Now we've got a couple of weeks waiting for the grass to sprout. That's always a little bit nerve-wracking for me. I always have this fear that something's going to happen and it's not going to sprout, but it always does, so that's good. Anyway, I thought I would share with you what I've been doing this week. And this week I have been working on The Spirit of Christmas, which is designed by Lavender and Lace. This is what it will look like when it is finished. And I've had a lot of time to stitch, and I'm really happy with my progress. First of all, here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. As you can see, yeah, I'm getting really close to the end with this one, especially with the stitching that I did this week. I am stitching this on 32 count natural linen, or raw linen, 32 count raw linen. I'm stitching 2/2, and I just love how this piece is turning out. I have to say, this has been a really fun piece to stitch. It's got to be in like the top, one of the top of my favorite pieces that I've ever done. I just really love this piece. So you've seen what it looked like the last time you saw it, and this is what it looks like now. So this is after another week's of work. You'll see Santa is pretty much finished now. Yeah, Santa is finished. So he now has a face. I think before his hands are finished as well. And all that is left to stitch is this piece of the garland that comes down through here. As you can see, I'm working on this bow up here, and of course this is all mirror image, so if you want to kind of, this side is going to look like that side. Yeah, so he is really close. My spreadsheet says I have 3 or 4 days left to work on him. In fact, I was kind of tempted to just keep working on him for another week, but I'm not going to. The garland is very, very confetti-ish. I mean, it's only 4 different colors of green, but it's one stitch spread throughout, so it's kind of a pain to stitch, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. So we're going to put him away for about a month before he comes back out to play. And I am pretty confident that the next time he comes out, he'll be finished. So there's this great big empty space right here. There is going to be a big star there that's stitched in gold metallic. You can kind of see there's like some space in his glove. That's where there's going to be gold metallic stitches from the star there as well. So yeah, so I have this to finish. And then there's minimal back stitching. There's very little back stitching, and then also there's the star that I need to stitch, and also his belt buckle. So, but yeah, I'm still really in love with him. I love the colors. They're so Christmas. And I'll give you a little bit of a little look here. His face will look much better when the back stitching is finished. I love this holly in here too, and his hat. He's so classic. And yeah. So that's what I've been doing this week. As I said, I'm very happy with my progress. I think I've got one more week, and that will be sometime in November. So looking forward to doing that. Anyway, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Goodbye. Hey guys, welcome back. How are things going? Things are going great here. The work is going great. The project that I'm working on is coming to an end. It looks like the beginning of next week, which is a good thing. We've been working on it for a year and a half, and it's just time for things to be finished. At any rate, it's Wednesday morning, and I have something that I want to share with you. I know that in my past couple of updates, I've been saying, I'm not going to start anything, I'm on a drive to finish things. Well, I guess I'm a little weak because I've had a new start. And Eric Shipley of Ship's Manor, he's a designer up in Utah, he started making videos. And in one of his videos about a month ago, he shared a stitch along that he was starting up. And it kind of caught my attention. So I ordered it, and I've been waiting for fabric and floss to arrive, and it arrived last week, and I couldn't resist starting it. This was my empty week to add something into my rotation, so I justified that I could do that. It's a very small project. I know that this will be finished by the end of the year, so it's not going to add much to what I'm doing, which is good. It'll add another finish. So I think with this project, I think I've got 3 more finishes coming before the end of the year, which is exciting. Anyway, he shared that, and the other reason I decided I wanted to do it is I decided I wanted to stay up and stitch with it while the stitch along was going, rather than wait a year. So anyway, this piece is called Miriam Bright. The first part was released on October 1st, and the second part's going to be released on November 1st. And I am stitching it with his called for fabric, and I finished the first part last night, so I thought I'd share it with you. So this is what it looks like so far. Let me pull this floss up out of the way a little bit. So this is really cool. This fabric is 32 count All Souls Night. It's fabric that Eric has dyed, so it's his fabric, and the floss is his floss too. And I don't know if you can tell, you might be able to see it on the camera, but there's basically, for each shade of color in here, there's a lighter shade and a darker shade. And the lighter, close to the flame, close to the candle flame, the lighter shades are used, and further away the darker shades are used. So you can really see it in this candle. This is the lighter shade of the candle color, and this is the darker shade. This motif is stitched in the lighter shades, and so is this, and these are in the darker shades. So, and these letters over here, this part is lighter and this part is darker. The fabric, I really love the color of this fabric. He says that it's black, but to my eye it's more 939 than 310. In fact, it might be a little bit lighter than 939. And I really love how these bright colors really look against this background. This is really cool. And I've had fun stitching it. I don't know. This is the second piece of hand-dyed fabric that I've used. And I've had this from 2 different dyers too. And I've had the same problem with both of them. The fabric, it feels like it's gauzy. I wonder if the chemicals from the dye kind of affect the fabric a little bit, because When I put this on my scroll bars, I can see right through it. And that's kind of distracting. It makes it hard for me to see the holes. In order to be able to see the correct hole to go down through, I had to kind of put my hand up underneath the fabric to obscure everything else, obscure the table underneath my scroll frames. And I also had a hard time with tension because the threads, they move in the fabric, move around really easily. So I don't know, do you guys know, is that something that's characteristic of hand-dyed fabric? Is that something that you've had experience with? Anyway, I thought I'd share with you the floss that he used too, because it's really pretty. There's light and dark colors for everything. So for example, I'll show you the light and the dark colors. So there's a red that's Red Rover, and then a lighter red, it's almost pink, Ida Rose. So there's those two colors. And then there's a nice blue. The darker blue is Winter Moon. And the lighter blue is Iceberg. So there's those two colors. Yeah, those look really cool. I really like these colors. And then there's a gold color. The darker color is Bumpkin Patch, so that's almost orange. And then this is Pirate's Booty. So there's those two colors. And then there's like a beige color, beige neutral color. The darker color is Hetchy Hetch. Yeah, and this is kind of, and then the lighter color is Mummy Wraps. So there's those two colors. And then there's a variegated colors that are like, not the beige, but the other colors are all in a variegated one. This is, the darker one is Yuletide Treasure, and then this lighter one is Lou's Lolly. So yeah, these are highly variegated. I've never stitched with something this variegated before, so it's kind of fun. Anyway, that's it. So I'm really, as I said, I'm really happy with that. I'll show it to you once more. I'm really happy with it. And it only took me 4 days to stitch this part. It would have taken less time, except for I didn't really have a lot of stitching time Sunday, and all I was able to stitch was the base of the lamp. But other than that, so now I have 3 extra days to do on whatever I want. So I'm kind of debating about whether to, it's probably what I'm going to do is next week is time for Autumn Magic. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on Autumn Magic early, so I'll get 3 extra days of stitching Autumn Magic, which is kind of fun. I also kind of considered bringing Let Freedom Ring out for 3 days, partly because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to finish Let Freedom Ring in my next rotation. I think I've got more than a week left on it. So I thought maybe I could do 3 days on it and get closer to getting it done, but I don't know. I kind of think that I'm going to do Autumn Magic instead. We'll see. I may change my mind tonight. We'll see. Anyway, I hope that you have a great week, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back. It's Monday morning. I'm getting ready for work. I hope that you've had a great week. My week's been pretty good. Last night, the project that I was working on was finished, which is a big relief. So that means that I'm going to be starting to work on something new. So it's great, a great week at work. Also, I had a really busy weekend. Otherwise, I was planning on filming this Saturday morning, but I just had so much to do, there just wasn't any time. So I've been the last week I've been working on Autumn Magic, and I'll insert a picture here of what it will look like when it's finished. Yeah, and I took advantage of the fact that Miriam Bright I finished early, and I had about half a week left, so I started working on Autumn Magic, and I've been working on Autumn Magic for 10 days up until Saturday. Saturday's the day that I've been rotating out. So now I'll show you a picture of what this looked like the last time you saw it. So this has been really fun to work on, and I'm excited to show you my progress again because I feel like I've made some pretty good progress. So this is what it looks like now. And I'm going to have to step back a little bit so that you can see it. So the last time you saw it, this was not finished, so I finished another page, which, yay, that's really great. I'm celebrating that I finished another page. And then I started working on this page down here. And I've stitched a couple of diagonals. And so I'm almost finished with this diagonal. And then this next diagonal, I think, is going to bring me down to this corner of the page. So I'm pretty happy with what I've been able to accomplish. As a rule, the really confetti heavy areas are areas where you see orange and red. And this is no exception. Down through here just seems to be really, really heavy. So I feel like I've slowed down a little bit when I get down in here. But I'm looking forward to this top half of this page because it doesn't look like it'll be quite as bad. There's a tree right here, and the tree is shadowed, so it's mostly black with green around the edges. So we'll see the tree show up, and then there's a bench over here that's going to show up too. So this half of the page is kind of boring. I'm looking forward to getting to this half of the page because it looks like there's going to be some excitement there. So, but yeah, I'm loving how this is turning out. The more I work on this, the more I love it, the more I want to work on it. And I'm continuing to explore how to structure my rotation so that I can work on this more often. So I want to share with you a couple of my graphs that I'm using to track this project. The one that I really want to show you is this, which is the page trend. I'm tracking when I finish a page just to see how that's going. And you'll see I've finished a couple of pages. I've been doing it, well, I guess I'm going like about a page every 3 months seems to be the rate that I'm going at right now. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of, as I said, I'm trying to figure out how I can work on this more so that I can get more accomplished. You'll also notice there's a great big gap in there because I put this down for a while, and I'm kind of regretting doing that now because if I'd kept stitching on it, I think I could very well have at least another couple pages finished, 2 or 3 pages, and I'd be much further along. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I would love to get more of this done, and it's kind of driving what I'm planning on doing as far as stitching in the future. I'm trying to figure out how I can work on this more along with my rotation. So as I've already started working on my project for this week, for this month, I am planning on having 2 finishes, and I'm really excited about that. I'm pretty sure that I can do it, and I'm going to do it by hook or by crook. I've already decided how I'm going to accomplish that. So I'm sure that you'll love to see how I accomplish that. So we'll talk to you at the end of the week when I show you what I've been working on. At any rate, I hope you have a great week, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been another week. It's Saturday afternoon, and I've had a pretty good week. Work has been going along pretty good. We celebrated my daughter's 18th birthday, my youngest daughter's 18th birthday. It's kind of hard to believe that she's that old. I don't know what's happened to the last decade of my life. It's gone by pretty quickly. Anyway, I thought I'd share with you what I've been working on and what I've been able to accomplish. So this week I have been working on Let Freedom Ring. It's a design by Lila's Studio. Of course, it's a sampler with Independence Hall and a couple of other things. And I've been working on this for quite a while, over a year and a half, I believe. Yeah, so I'll insert a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And I'm stitching this on 32 count cream Belfast linen. I'm using the called for threads, and it's been a good stitch. It's been fun to stitch. I'm going to show you where I am, and it's going to look like I've finished, but I haven't yet because I have a bunch of back stitching to do. But last night I started back stitching, so it's partially back stitched. This is what it looks like, and as you see, I finished all the cross stitching. So let's see, I worked over here. I finished all these flowers and this bird, and of course the Liberty Bell, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. It took me a couple of nights to stitch. And then the over one, proclaim liberty throughout the land. And then I also finished this this border from here over to the end. So yeah, it's all the back stitching, all the cross stitching is finished, and now I just need to go back and do the back stitching. So the back stitching that I have done is the wheels and these the instructions call these the wagon bows. So I did that, and I stitched the north elevation. I stitched the years over here, and then I started working on the steeple, and I started from here and have gotten up to about here, and I've got more to do coming up this way, and then there is a lot of stitching on the building, and also this acorn border needs to be stitched. And then there's stitching around back stitching around the people too. So yeah, I've got a ways to go. I was considering continuing to work on this. Well, I am planning on finishing this month. This will be finished by November, but I kind of need a break, and I've been planning on working on this for a week, and then pulling out a couple of other projects, and then coming back to this. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I have, let me see, the Spirit of Christmas is the next thing that I'm going to be stitching. It's almost finished, and I really think that it's going to take me less than a week to finish that. And then Miriam Bright, I plan on working on that. And I believe I have the second part for that, and that will also take me less than a week to stitch. So I think I'll finish those, and then I'll come back to Let Freedom Ring and finish it. So my hope is that I will have 2 finishes in November. So the next time I do an update, I'll have 2 finishes to show you. I promise. I'm really quite confident that's going to be the case. And then Miriam Bright, I believe, is going to be finished in December, so that's really exciting. So anyway, it's been a very successful month as far as stitching goes, and I'll show you once more where I am. It's really kind of gratifying to see all the cross stitching finished. So it's another one of those things that I really enjoy, just looking at it and seeing seeing how it looks. So anyway, I hope that you have a great week, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for watching those with me. As I said, I've really enjoyed my progress, and I've got lots of plans. So that basically my plans are to keep working on the things that I'm working on. As I mentioned, I think I have 2 finishes coming up at the end of this month. I will have another finish in December, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be able to add one of my inactive projects back into my lineup. I'm excited to have them all back into my make them all active. So just as a reminder, I'm going to show you my inactive projects that I've had, and also what they looked the last time you saw them. The first one is 4 Seasons. This is a design by Modern Folk Embroidery. I really enjoyed stitching this, and I feel bad that it's been so neglected. I've stitched pretty much all of January, and I've started February, and here we are in November, and I'm so far behind on this. I want to give this some love, and I want to get it further along. So I'm excited to start working on this one again. Another one of my inactive projects is, of course, Quaker Christmas 2. This is a really fun piece. It's Christmas time. It's a Christmas piece, so I'm excited to work on it maybe a couple of times before the end of the year. And I think that this will probably be my next finish. I think, well, of course, Dina, Half Stitch Cross Stitch, has finished hers, and it really turned out great. Dina, I really like it, and I'm excited to see mine finished as well. And I think that it will stitch pretty quickly because it's motifs and there's a lot of empty space. So I'm excited to start working on this as well. And the other inactive whip that I have is English Garden Sampler. I've already mentioned that. This is a design by Teresa Wensler. It kind of looks like it has a lot left to do, but I really am more than halfway finished with this. I just need to actually concentrate on working on this so that I can finish it. I'm really close to finishing the top scene, the garden scene, and then I have a strip down about halfway down that's of a gate with a hedge with a peacock on it. There are a couple of topiary trees that I need to stitch, and then of course the letters, and then it'll be back stitching and beading. There's really, it's further along than you would think, so I just need to work on this more. So I'm excited to work on all 3 of these projects once I clear out my rotation. So that'll be really exciting. So those are my plans. Before I close, I want to talk about one other thing, and that is that I have reached 3,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you for subscribing to me. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I have really enjoyed making these videos, and it is you, my subscribers, that make this all worthwhile. So I want to do a giveaway to thank you for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. So I have 2 giveaways that I'm planning on doing, and we'll talk about those. The first piece that I want to give away is this. This is a design by Praiseworthy Stitches. It's called Seedy Pumpkin Cottage. And this is a Halloween design. I know we've just barely finished Halloween, but this is something that you could get started to have ready for next Halloween. It'll probably take you that long to stitch because it's pretty big, and it's of a house, and then there's buttons that are stitched attached to it. Those buttons are right here, and I will include those. They're Jabco buttons. There's also all through here, there's beads, and it's really, I think it's a really cute project. I've decided that I'm not really much into Halloween stitching, so I'm going to give this to somebody who's interested. So, if you want to win this, if you want to be entered in the drawing for this, comment below and put the word pumpkin in your comments. So if you mention pumpkins in some way, and maybe it'll be interesting to see who can be the most creative in their use of pumpkins, I will enter you in the drawing for this piece. Okay? The second giveaway that I'm going to do is a series of 4 charts. And for a couple of reasons, I have 2 copies of these charts. These are one of the designs that I am planning on starting next year once I get room for them in my project. These are a couple of pieces that I've really wanted to stitch for a long time, and I think the time has come. So I'm giving these away, and maybe you would like to stitch along with me when I start these. These are the Seasonal Gardens by the Drawn Thread. There's the Summer Garden, the Autumn Garden, the Winter Garden, and the Spring Garden. And I really like these. They are all of a house with flowers on the sides, and the flowers are all done in specialty stitches. And the names of the plants are stitched along the bottom of the design. And I've wanted to stitch these for a long time. So maybe you would like to join me as we stitch this. So I'll give you all 4 patterns so that you can follow along with me. If you would like to be entered in the drawing for this, use the word garden in the comments and comment below. As always, I would prefer that you were one of my subscribers. I don't know that I have a way to really check that. I'm not going to check whether or not you're a subscriber. I would prefer if you were a subscriber, though. And of course, you need to be 18 or over, or have permission from your parents or guardian to enter in if you are under 18. Okay? Feel free to comment, and comment using those 2 words in the comments below, and I will enter you in the drawing. We will do the drawing. I will do the drawing during my next update video, which will be in about 4 weeks. So that should be about enough time for everybody who watches this video to subscribe. I'm really excited about this, and I'm excited to thank you for all of the attention and the love that you have given my channel. So that's it. I hope that you have a great month of November. I will probably not talk to you before Thanksgiving, so if you live in the United States, I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. We are looking forward to, it's looking like we're going to have a small Thanksgiving with just our family, just because of other things, but that's always nice too. It's nice to be able to spend time just with family and relax. And I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for sticking with me. And feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to this video. We will talk to you again probably sometime at the beginning of December. So thank you. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.